who has ever become a millionaire on their own. Jay Walker joined the Billionaires Club in less than a year, but Warren Buffett took 55 years to do it. His net worth rapidly increased from zero to billions when he established Pricealign.com during the dot-com bubble. But it wasn't sustainable since when the bubble burst, his net worth collapsed and swelled. Buffett, however, remains at the top of the list and doesn't appear to be losing ground anytime soon. You aim to accumulate money of that nature. The game of money is difficult, aggressive, and competitive. You are destined to fail if you don't know the rules. The issue with most individuals is that even if they put in a lot of effort throughout their lives, they usually end up in poverty because they lack the knowledge necessary to allow their money to generate additional revenue. In other words, they lack investment knowledge. Assume you've been diligently saving and now have an extra $1,000 in your bank account. That alone is a success considering that only about 70% of Americans even have $1,000 extra. Therefore, let's say that you're going to invest that money rather than wasting it on another pointless gadget or a pair of shoes that you will only wear once before maintaining your wardrobe for many years before finally throwing it away. The difficulty is, however, how to invest your initial $1,000. Do you invest it in the stock market or in real estate? What kind of stocks do you purchase if you have $1,000 to begin investing? All of these and other questions will be addressed by us. Give this video a thumbs up and then let's begin to learn what investing is and how it functions. Think about this instance. Say you put in a lot of effort and save $300,000. You contrast this with going to a Ferrari dealership and purchasing a posh vehicle to flaunt your success. Or you may buy property and rent it out. You'll get at least $2,000 each month. You have the option of selling it and getting your initial investment back if you decide you no longer want to continue receiving the $2,000 paycheck each month. In fact, your investment's worth might even increase, allowing you to sell it for a higher price. This is how money creates money. But $1,000 won't get you a piece of real estate. Even a down payment cannot be made with that amount. But that doesn't preclude you from putting $1,000 somewhere else and watching it grow. The simplest method is to just deposit the money and earn interest in a savings account. Why, therefore, does the bank compensate you for keeping your money there? Should they not be billing you instead? No. You see, the bank will take your money, lend it to someone else at a greater interest rate, and split the profit with you. That is how the banks operate. The only issue with this method is that it isn't worthwhile due to the extremely low interest rates on deposit accounts. The maximum rate that is likely to occur is 0.8%. Which means that if you deposit $1,000 into a savings account today, he will receive an additional $8 in a year. This is incredibly low because the Fed targets an inflation rate of 2 to 3%, which means that if you don't get at least 2 or 3% over time, your $1,000 will lose some of its real value. You can purchase fewer items with it every year, but the reason interest rates on savings accounts are so low this year is because the epidemic prompted the Fed to decrease interest rates, which will stimulate more borrowing and spending in the upcoming year or two. The Fed will raise interest rates to 1, 2, or perhaps 3% as we emerge from this recession, which will result in an increase in the interest rates on savings accounts as well. The alternative is to purchase government bonds. A government bonus is a security that the government issues to earn money to pay for expenditures. If the government decides it wants to build a school but lacks the funds to do so, it may publish a document that states, "Whoever has the security is owed this much money plus interest by the US." Go. This is a ridiculously simple example, but that's the point. In other words, because interest rates are so low this year, government bond rates are also incredibly low. They are less than 1%. Government rates, however, were as high as 3% 2 years ago, which was not awful at the time of high interest rates. Because they are the safest investment you can ever make, government bonds. Every investment has a certain level of risk. What are the possibilities that the US government will not repay your loan if you were to lend it money? The failure of the US economy as a whole may be required for the US government to become bankrupt. Because of this, US government bonds are regarded as the safest investment in the entire world. However, if you want to get a bigger return, say, let's 10, 20, or 30%, you might think about investing in the stock market. The price of Amazon stock rose by more than 80%. Nearly this year, nearly 30% more people are buying Google stock. The price of Tesla rose by 721%. You heard that right, don't you? 721%. Then, why would anyone invest anywhere else when they could potentially triple or even double their money on the stock market? When it comes to government bonds, for instance, the answer is risk. Not much risk exists. In truth, there is some risk involved, but when it comes to certain businesses, there is a chance that they could fail. It might reveal loss-making revenue. Almost any unfavorable news can lower the stock price. If the public doesn't like the product the company releases, that may lead to some unfavorable press, which can lower the price. Thus, greater gains also entail more risk. Apple is a well-established corporation with significantly lower failure rates than, say, Tesla, but it also has less room for expansion than Tesla. Tesla increased by 721% this year as a result. However, Apple only by 70%. How much risk you can accept without going crazy is something you have to decide for yourself. If you're down to your last $1,000, it might not be a good idea to risk it all because you could lose the majority of it if things don't work out. Consequently, investing in an index is one strategy for investors to reduce stock market risk. The most well-known one is the S&P 500, which monitors the top 500 U.S. companies. In principle, an index fund would invest in these top 500 U.S. corporations. According to historical evidence, some of these companies will undoubtedly fail, while others will grow. Since the 1920s, the S&P 500 has returned on average about 10%. This means that purchasing a share of these index funds entails purchasing a little portion of the top 500 U.S. companies. The VOO or Vanguard 500 Index Funds, QQQ an Index Fund from Invesco, and Fidelity Zero Total Market Index Fund are my top 3 preferred index funds. Although they are all excellent and invest in essentially the same businesses, how do you get shares of this index fund? Where do you mean? Finding a broker who is qualified to sell you stocks is your first step. In the past, you had to pick up the phone and contact the person to request that he sell you some shares. Do you recall the Wolf of Wall Street? He would phone folks and try to sell them securities worth their time on char day. But praise God, it's 2020 and things have greatly improved. Brokerage companies developed apps like Robinhood, Weibo, and others so that you can purchase shares from the convenience of your smartphone. You can start investing immediately after downloading one of these apps and creating an account. In fact, you will receive 2 free stocks when you sign up with Webull.com via the link below. Just to be clear, it's an affiliate link, but you'll still receive your complimentary stocks. Isn't that incredible? That's a great place to begin. Would be. Verify the description's link. I did my best to keep this video as straightforward as I could so that anyone who wants to begin investing can do so right now. Frequently, when you want to start investing, but you have a ton of questions, you start Googling everything and eventually get tired of it. So you just give up and try again perhaps a few months later. So in this brief video, I try to address all of your inquiries. So be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you found it useful. Additionally, if you're new around here, subscribe and enable notifications. As always, thanks for watching and see you soon.